Sports fans, ASMR Sports, back in your business. Well, I was out of town for a little bit, took the weekend off to go to Minneapolis and spend some quality time with the kiddos. So I have not had a chance. The last video I posted, I actually had recorded like a few days before, but just didn't get a chance to upload until I got back from this little trip. But now I'm kind of, sort of trying to do some new recordings, and that's what we got today. So let me chew on this gum here. So today's video is kind of a mail day video. I've got some newish items and then a couple of older items that have come in the past couple of weeks. As always, continuing to get stuff in on a regular basis, and I'm continuing to buy a fair bit of like vintage unopened when I can get deals that I feel are pretty reasonable, and I think I'm gonna be trying to put some of that stuff on the website hotcardboard.com, which is also where this newer stuff is kind of headed. Possibly talk about that. Alright folks, first up is I've got a few different 2023 basketball products. I've talked about this before, but I'm generally pretty happy to buy 2023 basketball products, if I can get them for semi-reasonable prices, with the idea that they have certainly the potential to go up significantly in value once Wembanyama hits his stride and maybe gets close to a championship in a few years. So I'm happy to hold that stuff for the long term, and hopefully Wembanyama's not the next Ja Morant or Zion Williamson. I also personally am a big fan of Derek Lively. I'm a Mavs fan, primarily because of Luka, but of course I'd like to see the whole team win. And I think Derek Lively is a really sort of a, what do they call that, kind of a spark plug for that team. So his rookies are in here as well. Now Crime Royale is the place to find kabooms, as you see there, and kabooms are an insert that's been very well received by the hobby. Fairly rare. I don't know if they're like sort of case hits, probably case hits, but if you get one of those of a star, you're rocking and roll. I presume there's a Wembanyama rookie kaboom out there too. There's one auto, one memorabilia card in each box. The box is very light. There's 8 cards inside here, so it's one of these kind of high risk, high reward products. I think these go for maybe like $250, $300, something like that. Not terribly expensive, but for 8 cards, that's a lot. So that's one new thing. Next up, we got 3 retail boxes of 2023 Prism. So I add these to the fast break boxes of this stuff, of which I think I've sold one already. I may not have any in stock on the site because I think I only got like 2 of those, and I maybe want to keep one. I think I just heard in the background there's kind of a thunderstorm going on right now, but I'm in the card dungeon, so you can't hear much unless there's pretty loud like thunder boom rooms. But it occurred to me as I was about to record here that like there was a place upstairs I could record. I could do, you know, like a thunderstorm in the background. Thunderstorms are pretty common for, you know, like relaxation videos. Anyways, this is a retail box, so it's kind of the, you know, the lowest sort of complete box product on the Prism product lineup. You know, you got your hobby. Below that, you got your choice. Below that, you got your fast break, and then below that, you got your retail here. I think these are like $150 boxes or something like that. But you do get one auto, and I think they're mostly going to be rookie autos, but I feel like there's also veteran autos that come out of these things, or like retired player autos. You get 24 inserts or prisms, and then these pink pulsars are like super rare, low numbered. I think they're numbered to like less than 100. So these are pretty fun to rip open, I have to say. I'm sort of tempted to possibly get into one. Yeah, I got 3 of them, so maybe I'll pull one of those up and we'll do one on a live stream if somebody wants to order. That'd be pretty sweet. So, Select basketball recently came out. I used to be a huge Select fan, and honestly, if I was a little more cavalier with my, it's funny because I spend a lot of money on cards, but you know, most of it I keep in sealed, you know, boxes. So I'm spending money, but I'm not, you know, sort of like flushing it down the drain by opening up a bunch of, you know, stuff that I buy. So I feel like it's pretty, you know, liquid in unopened form, sports cards. And, you know, it doesn't easily lose a ton of value. I mean, it certainly can, but not very quickly. So I feel like even though I spend a lot, you know, getting inventory, the fact that there's some nice rolling thunder in the background, but the fact that I keep things unopened makes it feel like, you know, I'm not really spending it. It's not like I'm buying, you know, a car that will depreciate, you know, over 5 years and be worth nothing. Or, you know, I don't know, spending it on like, I don't know, caviar or something, you know, that's just consumed and then gone. So I guess this is all just me rationalizing the amount of money I spend on inventory. But in any event, I think, you know, hobby boxes of Select, which I used to always grab, you know, one of those and open it up starting in, like, I did that in 2017, 2018, 2019. I think I did it in 2020 as well. I might have actually opened like a hybrid instead of a hobby in 2020. But then after that, I just kind of stopped because, you know, they were getting so expensive and the return was not very good. But anyways, 23 Select is now out, and I was feeling cheap when I ordered, so all this modern basketball I got in one order from my distributor. They had kind of a restock, but they did have these hybrid boxes, which can be pretty sweet. There's a numbered disco prism sometimes in here, and you can get autos. They're not guaranteed or anything, but I've had fairly good luck. It's funny, the box like shape this year's different than the last. I think they started making this shape of box in like 2020, and before that it was like it was like a flat kind of wide, you know, square box. But in any event, yeah, this is the hybrid. And for those of you who don't know, the hybrid boxes of a product generally are going to have, you know, no guaranteed autos. They're going to have, you know, kind of an exclusive kind of parallel. In this case, it's disco prisms that don't come in any other formats. You know, there are fewer packs than in a hobby. I don't know what else is different. I mean, and you won't get, you know, many of the hobby types of prisms, like, you know, the numbered sort of regular, just base, your, you know, sort of plain color prisms, like red prisms, blue prisms, etc. You'll either get the disco prisms or you'll just get a silver prism. So that's kind of the difference. But, you know, then these are like a third or so of the price of a hobby box. So it's a lot cheaper. You can get some cool stuff, and it is the base cards are not the retail cards. They're the same as in hobby, which is nice because nobody wants those blue retail base cards out of Select. I don't think, anyways. I don't. So he's got one of those. That would be fun to open. And then I got a couple of these guys. I haven't ordered any Donruss soccer in forever, and I feel like they maybe didn't make it for a couple of years after it sort of initially came out. Well, actually, they made Donruss soccer like, I don't know, back in like I think mid 2000s. I think I have like a couple of cases of some really old stuff, like 2000. Man, what is that stuff from? Actually, I think my cases are like from 2014 or 15. And actually, the cases I have of Donruss soccer are from the first year I think they ever made it. So I think that was like 14 or 15. Might have been 15. It was like before Pulisic came out. Pulisic. But in any event, they stopped making it, I think, for a bunch of years. And then in 2018, they started making it again. And it was a pretty cool product. You would get like optic, chromium cards in there. You'd get all sorts of numbered parallels coming out of that stuff, even the retail. And I don't know, back in 19, the rookie cards that were in that 2018 Donruss product were pretty solid. A lot of stuff that you wanted to get out there, and there was a ton of value. So it was a pretty cool product. I still have a bunch of 2018 Donruss fat pack boxes lying around somewhere, but it's been a long time since I've really opened, I think, or ordered any Donruss soccer. So I saw this on the stock list for my distributor, the restock list, and this is a hobby box from 2023 here. And I thought, what the hell? Let's get some hobby. If you had hobby boxes of the 2018 Donruss, you were sitting very pretty back in 2021 or so. Soccer was going off, and again, some cool stuff in that 2018 product, at least back then. I think that stuff is still pretty expensive, but not compared to what it was selling for in 2021. So anyways, what can I tell you? I did see also they have kabooms in Donruss soccer here this year, so that's pretty sweet. And you get one auto and one memorabilia card. So I don't know, I feel like these are somewhere between 200 and 300, which is fairly reasonable. You're going to get probably a lot of numbered cards in a hobby box of this stuff, and it's like heavy, so you get a ton of stuff in there. So that'd be pretty cool to open, I would think. And then I got a couple of older things here to show you guys. This one I actually just got in the mail today. Pretty sweet little box. I feel like I don't have one of these. I'm pretty sure I don't, but I certainly don't have one that's in this nice of condition. And this one in particular has no X out. A lot of times these older non-sports boxes, you have the X out on there, and I've explained this before, but if you've not heard me, those X outs boxes are basically ones that retailers would return to Topps if they didn't sell in their store, and then Topps would give them, money back or a credit for their future Topps orders, and then Topps, when they received those, they would X them out so that, so they weren't, sort of confused with new product or, kind of sold by downstream buyers as, like a fresh box, as opposed to something that had been, in the hands of a retailer, come back to Topps, and then resold to a retailer. So Topps did that to kind of, sort of ensure that the new product was distinguishable from stuff that had been returned and then recirculated. So, anyways, very common for actually, sports and non-sports cards from Topps to have the X out, and then it's you know, a fair bit less valuable to have those XO boxes as compared to a box that has a nice clean image without any X-outs markings on it. Sometimes the X-out is just like a little thin black line, and sometimes it's like they took like a friggin' paintbrush and they made like a giant mark across. I think Topps just use different kinds of pens and markings and brushes and stuff over the years to do the X-outs. So it kind of depends on what the product is. But in any event, sometimes the X-outs are horrendously bad. You can't even really ever see anything on the front, which is a real bummer. But this one is perfectly clear, and the box itself is actually very tight. This seems like the kind of thing that probably, came out of a case and went straight to baseball card exchange to get wrapped, because it is super tight. Corners are, very nice and angular. There's no separation of the perforated areas here. Everything just feels like super compact and just beautiful. So, in any of this is from, I think, like 79 or something like that, 78. Any kind of, 70s non-sports or sports for that matter from Topps just seems like, if you get it at market price, so you're not paying like more than what it's going for on eBay or whatever. Wow, big huge thunder roll in the background there. Take a listen. I hope you guys can hear that. It does seem pretty prominent in my headphones, but I know sometimes things come in on the recording substantially less prominently than, I hear in my monitor. So, any kind of 70s non-sport stuff I think is just awesome. I just love it. So these boxes go for probably $150 to $200, depending on condition. And this is pretty pristine. So I would expect this to, sell for the high end of the range of whatever these are going for compared to, an X-out or something that's got, wear and tear and beat up. This is just super nice. So anyways, yeah, I spent a lot of time on that one, but I do get excited about non-sports, you guys. I love non-sports. I'm really happy I started collecting non-sports. It fills my soul. I have to say, I love packs. I love boxes. I love everything about non-sports. Just, it's like, it's like your childhood in a box. It feels like, or maybe your parents' childhood. But, yeah, I don't know. I love it. Love it, love it. Alright, so last, but certainly not least, I have another vintage box. I have 4 of these, which is like dang near a 6-box case, and they actually made these in 3-box cases, so it's actually more than one of those. But I have 3 of these rack boxes, and if you don't know what a rack pack is, it's basically one of those packs that would hang from a grocery store, a rack, and have 3, like cells of cards, 3 little stacks of 15 cards in a cellophane wrapper, and so 45 cards total. They would usually sell for, like 79 to whatever, 99 cents in the 80s. Of course, that went up over years, and then eventually they stopped making rack packs. Like, I think they stopped making them in maybe like 91 or 92. I don't recall seeing any boxes from those years and newer. But can you guess what year this box is from? And by the way, a rack pack box from Topps, from the 80s like this, contains exactly twice as many cards as a wax box. There's 24 packs times 15, stacks or cells of cards, so that's 25 times 15, and I can't do the math in my head, but that's the same as 15 times 36, or exactly twice what 15 times 36 is, which is the number of cards in a wax box. So these tend to be a pretty good value, because if you look at the prices that you pay for a rack box of cards, on eBay or whatever, it's generally not nearly twice the price that you would pay for for a single wax box. So it's, for the cards that you get, it's a pretty good bargain. And I'm actually told that back in like the sort of 90s and 2000s, before collecting unopened vintage really sort of took off, at least from this era of stuff like the 80s, the prices of rack boxes actually had a premium per card over wax boxes, because the wax boxes will have wax on some of the cards and gum on some of the cards, whereas these babies have no gum anywhere in them. There's no wax anywhere in them. There's just clean, beautiful cellophane touching those cards. So you're gonna do much better trying to pull, gem mint cards out of a rack box than a wax box. And so that, seems to be logical that the cards, on a per card cost basis would be more expensive in, rack boxes, in cello boxes compared to wax boxes. But right now, that's not true. Wax boxes carry a premium price-wise per card. I think just because people really love those beautiful wax wrappers, which I have to say I do too. But alright, so this box and 3 others I have like it are from 1985 Topps Baseball. And you'll notice, if you're astute, this says FASC, which means from a sealed case. So what that means is this box is exactly, and the packs inside, the rack packs inside, are exactly as they were, when these cards were sealed up in a card, in a box, in a case by Topps back in 1985 or presumably late 84, when Topps was manufacturing these. So nobody has, looked through these to pick out, the rack packs that have a good card on the front or the back. Nobody has, seen these at all. And that's pretty valuable because the rack packs will show the, card on the top of each of the cells. There's 3 cells and there's 3 stacks of cards. And it will also show the cards, on the back of each of those stacks. So there's potentially 6 cards you can see, although one of them is going to be an all-star card that generally nobody wants. So really there's 5 cards total that you can see. And if you get a really good one, if you get a Roger Clemens rookie, or you get probably the big card in here is a Mark McGwire rookie. If you get a pack showing, one of those cards, it can be quite valuable. So, it's nice to know you have a box where those packs have not been picked out. And these are, untouched by human hands. All the packs in here, nobody's seen them, nobody's sorted through them, nobody's picked out the good ones with the stars showing. And that's why these FASC boxes, do command a significant premium over, the boxes that do not have that FASC designation, and those are boxes that just have, packs that are deemed to be sealed, but, they may have come from 3-4 different other boxes and been put into one new box, or someone may have taken a nice one out and then put a different one in, right? So, you can see why those are worth significantly less than the FASC ones, and of course there's many fewer FASC ones because there simply are way fewer complete cases of these kinds of older products around anymore. And sometimes what really gives me the heebie-jeebies when I see somebody like on eBay or on Facebook or wherever, and they've got a sealed case of an older product like that, and they just open it up. Sometimes they do it because they want to make sure there's something, the right cards are in there. Sometimes they just, want to be able to see the condition of the boxes, whatever. And I guess I shouldn't suggest this is always an insane thing to do, but it definitely does. You lose value when you do that, because once you open that seal and you just have, regular boxes there, like you can't, you can try to sell them as FASC, right? But people are not going to want to buy them as FASC, so they're just going to pay you the lesser price, lesser value of a non-FASC box. But if you take that case and you don't open it and you send it on into Baseball Card Exchange, they will open it up, confirm that it has never been, sealed or unsealed, and then, wrap each of the individual boxes as FASC boxes, and then send those off to you, and you can sell those for a premium. So that's what I, would prefer to do with any of my cases that are sealed. But some people don't know about that, or they're just impatient, or they just want to see, what's in their cases, and so they just kind of open them up and sell the boxes as is, and get a lesser price for them. So, all right, folks, that's what we got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I love showing off this kind of stuff and talking about it, because all this stuff is pretty awesome stuff, I think. And yeah, hopefully I'll get some of this stuff up on the site, and maybe next time I do a live stream, y'all can order some. We can open some of these newer boxes maybe, and have a little fun that way. Or if you're, I know we have at least one collector who's a subscriber to the show who collects, vintage stuff, not non-sports, but hockey actually, and I've got a bunch of stuff to get online for him to take a look at, because I've been buying a lot of hockey, older stuff from the 80s, and with the intention of trying to sell some of that if I can. But if not, that's kind of stuff happy to have around, so I can enjoy it myself for as long as as I want to keep it around. But all right, that's what we got for today, folks. Hope everybody's doing fantastic. We will catch you all later. You have a great one, and we'll see you then. Bye now.